Fishies!
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to chat with us. How's it going, Skye?
Good. It's winter now, so I've actually just been in front of a mic like all day doing voice,
you
voice
do a lot
work.
of voice work.
I was doing a cartoon where I was playing a small dinosaur that went like like all day, so that's pretty funny. I've just been in front of a mic all day.
Yeah. But you do a lot of voice work, don't you?
Yeah, when I have time in between.
So what is the voice work a lot? Is it a lot of cartoons or like what?
Some are cartoons, like audiobooks.
Yeah.
Sometimes like a lot of children's audiobooks, which are actually quite fun. And then dubbing into...
I mean, that's a fucking art
it's like
itself.
Russian stuff, Turkish stuff, Chinese, Korean, Indian.
What's your normal voice that you do? Or is it always like...
different ones.
Yeah. So give me
like
one.
sometimes it's accents and sometimes it's not, but I think...
Because sometimes they have it, like I know in the when they used to dub a lot, like the Chinese films, it's like they don't even sound like Chinese, like a Chinese accent.
No.
That
it's
neutral,
like it's always like American or British. But what's so annoying is that you have to say the names the way that you meant to say them.
Yeah.
So like I'm doing this Turkish one at the moment, and it's a British accent, but when you say the Turkish names, you have to sound more Turkish, which is just contradictory because like you'll never go to a restaurant and be like, "Hi, can I please order like a margarita pizza?" Like it's just weird. Like it just comes across weird. So it's like trying to like keep the accent, but then doing weird like like R's or like, and it's like an American accent, and you're like, no one's gonna say in an American accent.
I remember watching like a while back some Thai films I used to watch. But whoever did the dubbing, it was all like Cockney accents. And I was just like, no, it's like so random.
It's just weird.
It's just weird. Like you get this Thai guy doing this big fight scene, and then it'll be like it'll cut to him, and he'll be like, "What do you think you're doing, mate?" or something like that. And I'm just like, what? Like,
I always play the boys because I've got like a deeper voice. Okay. So I'll play like the little like cartoon kids, but like I don't know some like little French kid who's like, I don't know, in love with a girl, and he's like, "Wow, Nina, your pimple's beautiful," and it's like just these weird little voices, and sometimes like I do them, I get cast, and I'm like, why would I do that voice? And then I watch it back, and I'm like, oh, it kind of works. Like maybe I'm just like a little fat boy kid, like inside me. He's there.
Voice work. I have hardly done any voice work. I actually did an audition recently. Like about a month ago, where I did it was for some cartoon or something. It was actually quite fun, and I was actually quite surprised. I was like, "Oh, I did all right there." It actually sounded cool. It's fucking weird. It's just I don't know what it is. It's like sometimes when it's like nothing against you because I know you do this, but it's like it's always weird when people do like cartoon voices. I just think, you have to be like a certain type of person to do that. Not so much doing the voices. It's more like, it's more this than the voices. It's the cartoon, what can I say? It's like the Saturday morning, like, show for like kids, for babies or for kids. And when I watch that or something like it's like it's like a little TV show for the kids, entertaining the kids, and they're either all dressed up and they're doing the sing along thing, and I'm just like, even when I was a kid, I didn't fucking like that shit. And I just think like you got to be a fucking weird person to do that.
I'll like stand when I'm doing the kids ones because if I'm sitting, I'm like, I don't have the energy. I have to like stand and be like, get that energy.
Like, no, it's like nobody talks like that. Nobody.
Kids have way more energy than I would.
It's like when you talk to like your dog or your cat, and you're like, hello, and you see those things where there's a POV and it's just somebody going hello, making all these fucking funny noises, but when you see it in those like kid shows, morning shows, and kid TV shows, it's just like nobody fucking talks like that.
No.
Like it's so fucking weird. It's it's like when I used to like I've never been a big fan of there's certain musicals that I like. But I've never been a big fan of musicals, so it's like with a film, and then they all just start singing and dancing. I'm like, that never fucking happens. It's like it's such a when you really think about it, it's so fucking weird. Like, you know, you have music and you have music videos and you have live shows, but then it's like, why would somebody break out into song or something?
There's like
it's just weird.
There's like a few musicals I like, and when I first I studied theatre, and before I went to like 4 years of drama school, I did a year of performing arts at a school that did dance, singing, acting, and so I was sort of doing a bit more musical things. And when I first started auditioning, I'd still audition for musicals, and one of my first auditions was for Cabaret. And I remember, like, I didn't know that much about the musical, but I love the musical, and it was like one musical where I was like, that's a cool fucking role. Like Sally Bowles is a great role. And I got a call back for it, but I was shocking. It was the worst callback. They like sent me all this sheet music for one song, and then they had a scene with like another song at the end, but they didn't tell me to learn that song. And in the audition, they're like, no, that's the song you have to do. And the callback. I think I'm horrible at callbacks. Like at auditions, I just like balls to the wall, like give it all, and then callbacks, I just double guess myself. But in that case, like I genuinely had prepared the other song that was 11 pages long, and like, you know, come up with some little like dance moves, and then like in the audition, I was like, oh, this is not the song. And I saw the show 2 weeks ago in London, and it was such a good rendition of it. And it was Amy Lou Wood, who's in Sex Education, and she's so fucking funny. She gave such a raw, original performance to it, and was like in Doc Martens and just very raw. And I was like, it's so not what people would normally do, but it worked so well. And I think like the way that they did it, like even made the musical just so much fun, and they sort of had it all in the round, and the performers were at the bar before the show even started, and I was like, that's the way to do it. Like I don't think, I don't know, I don't even know if it could have been done better. Like I feel like the way that they did it, where people would come in and buy drinks and all the performers are already like around there, it was like, it kind of made me want to do like a musical. And there aren't many musicals where I'm like, oh fuck, I would like to do that. But I like actually watching her do it was really cool. And she's just super funny and British. I don't know if you've seen Sex Education.
No, I know what you're talking about.
But you need to watch like 3 episodes to get into it. It's like one of those series where
it's just so much content to watch now.
I know,
trying to keep up with everything.
It took me like, I watched the first episode like maybe I think 2 or 3 times, because I was like, I wanted to just get into it, but I think I just like watched it and then I just didn't. And then eventually I just binged it, and it's like Schitt's Creek, or there's certain shows that like it took me a while to get into, and then once I was in it, I was like, you get so attached to the characters, and I think they have
That's why the writing's so good in series.
They have such good character development. So like, because you love the characters and you watch the characters grow, it just makes the series so good.
I mean, how did you get into acting? Like, how did you get into it? What was your first thing? And
when I was young, like really young, I used to dance. Like I did tap and modern and contemporary, and I think I really loved just performing. My parents definitely took me to watch a lot of like theatre when I was young, and puppet shows.
Did they push you into
Not
it?
at all, not at all. But like they
we're gonna be rich.
No, you know? Like my dad's like works in the film industry, but in like the art department, but it was so different. But like my mom was always into music, and all their friends were like musos, and she'd always make an effort. I guess they loved going to the theatre or to puppet shows, so I think there was definitely like a performative aspect in that. And
so what was your first thing? What was the first thing that you, like TV or film, or what was the first thing you did?
Okay, well, the real first thing that I did was I was in grade 4, and I played Sif in a play called Sif that was about Norse mythology.
Skye still puts that on that
Thor's. I put on my show reel. It's Thor's. I played Thor's wife.
Okay.
And she gets her golden hair cut off. But genuinely, I feel like that was the first time I'd like done like a character, and I dressed up, and I like I loved it. And then every time we did like a school play, like I always wanted to be. I was very upset if I didn't get like the lead role, or I was, you know, and
I was one of the three kings in the typical play in nursery. A little fucking crown on, one of the kings, a little cape, and I was like, amazing, with a little wrapped up fake little present. That was great.
It's so like, I think I definitely got into it with theatre. So like, I think that's, I mean, especially in high school, I'd watch a lot of theatre. I've watched probably more theatre than most people that I know. I went through a stage where if I went to a festival, like I'd go to Grahamstown to go dance, but then I'd go watch all of the shows. And I went to Edinburgh when I was like 19 and did sort of musical dancing stuff. But I always wanted to do acting. Like, I kind of did the musical stuff because I wanted to be more versatile. Yeah. And I mean, these days people just want real. They just want like. Yeah.
So, what do you prefer, for TV or theatre? I know it's different. It's a different fucking ball game.
But you know what's interesting is I was thinking about it, especially now being in the UK and watching some really, really great shows. Is that I love theatre that's very filmic, and I love films that are very like theatre based or based on plays. Okay. So like I watched a really amazing show that Sam Mendes directed while I was there. And I mean, him being a film director, like the whole thing was so, even the way that the stage would like open up almost like a camera. Nice. And like I watched another show of Phaedra that also, they had 4 massive scene changes, like the 4 seasons, basically.
I always think on so theatre, like the guy that does the lights. I don't know how many guys do lights on a normal theatre play. I really don't know. But that and sound must be hectic for
and in the UK, you have the budget. So I think what's crazy is you can almost make a film production quality of a play, whereas I think in South Africa we're often trying to sort of make the best with a small space and a small theatre, and like here in South Africa it's literally called poor theatre. That's like a style of theatre we would do. So I think
why do they call it poor theatre?
Because it's like you don't have a lot of things, I guess, to like put on the stage. You're like, okay, it's me light. And you, and we're on stage and we're just like we're just talking. Because I think this, like with film, like I love different styles of film, and I do love to go watch something that's like crazy and different. But I think there's been we see so much, like we see so much action and CGI and like intense like murder and rape and things, and it's so in our face that I think sometimes, I don't know, like I feel like maybe we're heading towards like another renaissance of like just wanting to see 2 people be raw. Yeah.
I've always when it comes to film, for me, I've always been more in camera prosthetics. Everything's real than CGI and all that. It just takes, so much away from it. And, and it's a lot of those other films, they don't really depend on the story, and it depends on the visual effects. And then they forget about the characters. And that's the thing. It's like, at the end of the day, that's why growing up, I used to watch like a lot of, foreign movies and French movies and German movies. And it's all fucking great characters. A lot better than a lot of the American stuff, and it's just good characters, good acting, and it's right there and it's raw,
Like one of my favorite series is films, but it's a series of films, is Before Sunrise.
Oh yeah.
Richard Linklater, and Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight, and it's all 10 years apart.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I think that's still one of my favorite films.
It's been 10 years since the last one, right?
I know. I don't think I actually read somewhere that Julie Delpy, I don't think she'll do another one. I think they were like, that was the end. But like there's like a poem on there that's my favorite poem, where like it's my favorite thing. And they like walk around in the first one, and then they see this guy, and he's sitting on a boat, and he's like, give me a word and I'll write a poem for you. Yeah. And they give him a word, and the word's milkshake. Yeah. And he writes this whole poem like, daydream, delusion, limousine, eyelash, baby with your pretty face, drop a tear in my wine glass, sweet cakes and milkshakes, I am your delusion, baby. Like I still know, like I know it because I'm like, I love that, like I love that film. And Another director I really love at the moment is Florian Zeller. And he wrote these 3 plays that I picked up ages ago because a guy, Duncan Macmillan, who I also like... No, it's not Duncan Macmillan. What's his name? I forgot his name now. But he translated these French plays called The Mother, the Father, and the Son. And they did really well, and they went to Broadway and West End. And he then directed the film, The Father, which did really well with like Olivia Colman and Anthony Hopkins. And I thought it was incredible that he directed it.
Yeah. So it was very much like a theatre show.
Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't really. I mean, maybe there are a lot of people who have done this, but I haven't seen a lot of playwrights who have made it into a film and then still directed it themselves, which I think sort of holds that. Yeah. And on the plane now on the way to the UK, I watched The Son, which is his new film that he did, which is about like mental health and about this young boy really struggling. And I watched it on West End a few years ago, so I'd seen the play.
Oh, cool.
And like even seeing the film, I was still just like in tears at the end, even though like I knew it was going to happen. But it's like, it's just these very real spaces, and you sort of listen to this boy, and especially in the play, I feel like you really oscillate between going like, you're in your teens, he's like 15 or whatever. You're like, how many problems can you really have? And then being like, actually, you're really depressed and you really have an issue. Yeah. And I think the way that it's written as an audience, you almost like go between going like, just,
But that's like when you look at life and everything, it's, like when, obviously everybody has a different story, like you were talking about then, but it's just like, when you were a kid, there was like no worries of, we can play out, we can just do whatever we want to do. And then it's when you get to a certain age, like this is, we have to do things. We have to make rent. We have to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm always that person that always thinks back going like, fuck, remember when we were just worried about doing a test at school, or we were just worried about like going to school the next day. And it's like, when you get to a certain age, it's all those things like, I've got to pay rent, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And you just like, you start to realize like, okay, I am, because when you're a kid and you're looking at your mum and dad and other people, they think, oh yeah, they're fucking old,
You think school is like the end. My brother's a matric now, and like, he's always so stressed. You're like, it never ends. Like, I'm sorry to tell you.
It's like studying. Like, I've studied a few times, stopped, and then I've studied something else, and then I've been like, fuck, I never thought I'd ever study again. And then the last time I was like, that's it now. I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I'm not going to go to another place to study. I'm like, I'm done.
I know. It's even, I've got an audition on Monday, and I haven't done theatre for a really long time now. I was doing quite a bit of theatre, and now it's been more television and film, and it's kind of weird going back. Like, it's kind of daunting going and learning a whole lot of dialogue, or even just being like, oh shit, can I actually get back on stage and go do a play where you're like holding the whole thing for
that's crazy.
an hour and a half every night.
It's crazy. Like I take my hat off. I always say this. I take my hat off for any theatre.
I think I've become lazy. I'm like, I don't know.
I just can't even imagine to learn all that stuff and be scared of fucking up, or be scared of somebody else fucking up, and you've got to rescue them. And I've said that before, but it's I take my hat off for theatre actors. I'm definitely a screen actor. I want to do another take. I want to have another go, or I want to have another chance, another opportunity.
You can't on stage be like, sorry. And it happens. Like, you watch professional shows, and like, you sometimes can pick up when people when people mess up. Like, I did a play with an actor who every night would say something different. And
sometimes the audience, unless they know the play, sometimes the audience they
won't know. But what they do is, when an actor does that, they fuck everyone else over. Because they've said something, and then you're just like. And then sometimes they can like bumble through. Like, this guy would bumble through like just the whole thing, and you wouldn't notice because he was so just in it. And but everyone else around is going, okay, well, what am I going to say to that?
It's a spanner in the works.
But I do like that live element, and like on film. I think that happens sometimes.
Like, I love improv. There's a lot of actors that don't like improv. I love improv. I love being in the moment and just feeling it out and making it organic. And you know, some actors like, no, I need to know what to say, what to do, you know. And I'm always surprised how many people don't like improv.
Yeah, I think I like it, like especially to have that room.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, I guess here often, like, if you're getting like bit roles and series and stuff, I think it's quite hard to have that like space.
Yeah. But you see, sometimes with small roles and small bit roles or day players, sometimes we're on screen longer than what we're talking. So you can make something out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you might only have like a few lines, but then you can make something out of that while you're not speaking as well.
That's true.
So, and then sometimes it's those jobs where sometimes you walk away and you think, fuck, I could have done this, could have done that, you know.
When you're
but what was
driving home.
Yeah. So, but what was the first thing for you, for whether it was theatre or film or TV series or whatever that you did, that you were like, fuck, you know, this is your first like really decent role or something that meant a lot to you at the time, and you're like, shit, this is really good for my career, you know?
I guess one of the most recent series I worked on was just really cool because of the people that I got to work with, and some of the directors that we got to work with, and also getting to work with all these different directors over a span of like 10 episodes. I wasn't in all 10 episodes, but I got to work with 3 of the 4 directors. And I think that was really just to also see how different all of them work, like the way that they rehearse stuff, or the way that they speak to people or actors, and the way that whether they come from like a camera background or not, also just changes it so much, because like someone who is a director but was also a DOP will be like, know exactly what they want, like just like that. And it was crazy to work with directors who are like finishing early, and you're like, wow, that never happens. Just because they're so precise on what they want. And just working with some really lovely actors. I think last year was, I really enjoyed getting to work with some cool.
And
cool
have you ever had any? Because there's always like funny things that happen on set, or bad things that happen on set, or whether it's on commercials or whatever. Is there anything that like sticks out for you that, you know, you feel like unappreciated, or, you know, you just feel like the cattle?
I had a moment on a film I was shooting last year where I feel like these scenes are always awkward for women. I don't know, I guess for anyone, but any scene that you're like sort of have to be like half dressed, or you know, like any kind of like simulated sex scene, I think there's always going to be a funny story involved. But I was meant to wear a bra. And then because they were shooting from behind, they were like, it doesn't really make sense that I'm wearing a bra in bed. Like, it doesn't. And I was like, yeah, I get that. But because we hadn't planned that, no one had nipple caps for me. So these very sweet women who were in the art department were like, we have some plasters. And I took plasters and I put plasters over my nipples, and it took about like a month for my skin to recover, because like plasters, you know when you like put plasters on?
Did they take it off, or did you take it off?
I took them off, and I think I just was like, I just didn't think. And you also like, you're in the scene and you're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna put them on.
But
like,
the shot's from behind. So it's not like
because you couldn't see it, but obviously you're in a room and there's like cameras and lights everywhere, and you've got like more than 10 people in the room, and I'm like, cool, I don't like, that's fine, like I know how you're shooting it, but like I'm not gonna just like just be out here for fun. But they threw you in the mix. You didn't really
so
it was a bit of a last minute thing, and it was a bit, you know, it happens. But I was like, why did I do that? So I kind of felt vaguely responsible, but I also feel like that.
It should have been spoken about upfront,
before. But I think those kind of things they can always be a bit tricky. Like,
I think I'm just trying to think now. I think I've only ever done like what, maybe one like kissing scene in like a short film like fucking years ago. But it's always what rules do you know, or if you have done it before, like when you, because I always hear like different like rumors or what people say. It's like when two people kiss on film, it's like, is it automatically like no tongue, or is it automatically like it's okay for the girl to use tongue but the guy can't use tongue?
I know. I
always hear these like different stories, and I always like asking people like what it is. It's like, oh, I can use my tongue but you can't use your tongue, or something like that. Like, it doesn't really fucking make sense.
No, there's someone who was talking about how you should never, like, I watched this interview, and this actor was talking about how he went to America, and in America apparently they give you like mints, and he just thought like the makeup and hair department were being like super, like, you know, you stink, and he was like, it was for Get Out. What's that actor who's in Get Out? He's brilliant, and Daniel.
I don't know.
I forgot his name now. But he was like, and then he realized every take they'd give him a mint, and he was like, oh, like they don't do this in the UK. But he also said that like no one ever told him that you mustn't use tongue. But I guess it's like different for like,
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, is it that conversation beforehand of those two actors? You know, do we go, you know, so how are we going to do this, or should we have a little practice, or are you okay with doing this, or
I think people have become a lot more conscious now, and now most sets have
they have that
intimacy coordinator.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a bit more. I think it definitely wasn't like that before.
Yeah. It's like, just do it.
Yeah. I mean, even...
Just put it in dry.
Just go. Which I think it like can either... It's like improv.
Yeah.
Like it can either work out really well, or it can be like, this is so awkward.
It is crazy over time. Like you said, now it's very strict now, what we do and all these things. And it's just funny to think, you know, back when they were like, okay, this is the scene, this is what we're basically going to do. And then it's a bit of improv kissing. And then, you know, you could be there as that actor or actress going, what is he fucking doing?
Yeah.
Or why? I'm like, I don't feel comfortable, but we're running the scene and we're rolling.
Like,
it's weird that we didn't think more about it when you look back at it now.
Well, also, like, since the pandemic and everything, now, like, before, I would go to commercial castings and they would be like, you have to kiss someone in the casting. It's like not even a callback sometimes, and you're like, now they're like, oh no, you're not going to kiss.
Everybody's got like cold sores going. Okay, you're the next person.
No, literally,
kiss me.
I did one where it was it actually was a callback, and
I thought you were going to say it was actually a cold sore.
It was a cold sore. It was a callback, and it was me and another woman, and there were like 6 guys. So she had 3 of them and I had 3 of them, and they were trying to pair us up.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was quite an emotional one, and I was like, I had to be pregnant, and I was like telling my partner that I'm pregnant, and I like take his hand and put it on my stomach and like just, you know, cry and like kiss each other, and like he's like, oh my gosh, and they like played music, and it was very emotional, but like, this is like before 11 a.m. and I've now kissed 3, like 2 married men and 1 guy who's like got in a relationship. And I was like, this is a lot. And like, not even just like kissing, like snotting. Because because it's like that ugly cry. Like I'm happy, but I'm sad, but I'm crying. And there's like snot everywhere. And I was like, this would never happen now. Like they would, I don't think they'd let that happen until you unset. And even then they like it's last year I was getting tested every second day, like PCR tests. And that was weird. Like we were shooting a sci-fi, but like the world seemed more sci-fi than the sci-fi we were shooting, because everyone's like wearing these shields with like our names on, and it's just like really bizarre.
That's crazy. Anyway, thank you so much for chatting.
Thank you.
It was fun talking to you, and we'll catch up soon.
Perfect.
Cool. That was fun.
Thank you.
Wow. Fishies!